Welcome back. I'm Randy Bueller, joined now by Kai Buddha. How are things going, Kai?
Pretty good. Looking forward to the playoffs.
I am too. I want to put you on the spot and let you guess some decks. I know that you've talked with Paul Rietzl, right? You know some of the spice that he's got lined up, but that's later in the show. We've got somewhere between 3 and 5 matches of Rich Shay versus Eric Froehlich first, so I don't think you've talked to those guys. I'd love to hear your take on what you think they might bring to a 3 out of 5 series like this.
No idea what they're playing. I expect a workshop deck from each. I know that Rich was at a real life vintage tournament this weekend, which was won by Salt Sea workshop.
It was, yeah, the Mandarin Open, Waterbury.
I would be very surprised if that's not one of Rich's deck. Then I assume Rich has a Mentor deck. I would guess a Sylvan Library version.
Okay.
And then after that, maybe he's got a Grixis Pyromancer deck along with the Mentor deck. Like I think that's really the decks that Rich feels comfortable with, right? Like,
sure.
I mean, obviously he could play Dredge, he could play anything. He's a good player, but I think against Eric he would probably want to stick to the decks that he's comfortable with. And I mean, Eric's range is just anything. Like, my guess would be a Mentor deck, a Workshop deck, and either Dredge or Standstill, leaning towards Standstill. Like, if I was Eric, I would probably try to play Blue Mirrors against Rich, because I think that's where Eric has an edge against him. Like, I don't think he has it. Like, I don't think he has an edge in the Workshop Mirror. Like, Rich has played that deck much more.
Do you think does Eric even bring a Workshop deck then?
I mean, it's so powerful, and a lot of Rich's range are Mentor decks, which I don't think are great against Workshop. I mean, if you set them up properly, sure. But, like, you still have all these cantrips, and they are so bad against the effects.
True story, yeah. If you think that Rich is going to have multiple sort of Mentor Pyromancer, essentially blue cantrip style decks, then you're right. Then Eric.
There's a chance for sure, right? I mean, I'm not saying it has to be the case. I mean, Rich might be coming with Workshop and Oaths. Like, Rich has definitely played Oaths before. And I mean, I watch his stream frequently. On the stream, he plays a much wider range of decks than he's playing in the VSL. And he could certainly branch out to any of that. I mean, that he can play all these decks very well. It's not going to be a problem.
Here's the most interesting question for me, though. Will we see Eldritch Moon cards?
I do not think so. I mean, to make a card powerful enough for Vintage, I mean, Spell Queller might be, and I mean, first of all, I think you're not going to see a card that gets put into Workshop, right? Because they're not going to be printing any lock pieces, and it's not an artifact set or something. It's super unlikely. Like, there's nothing for Workshop.
Apparently, Workshop's totally willing to play Thought-Knots here, though, so I mean, I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, it's not impossible.
Yeah, but Thought-Knots here is a different card, though. Like, I mean, it has. I just don't see it. Like, I don't think anything from Eldritch Moon goes into that deck. It seems so unlikely. And then the Mentor deck. I mean, you saw in the last week when I talked about Brian's take on the Grixis Mentor deck. Like, we were talking how different his take was, but in the end, it still has the same 50 cards. And then he changed the last 10 cards. Like, cards have to be so powerful to fit into that shell, because there's so many cards that you have to play. You have to play the Preordains, you have to play the Pyromancers, you have to play the Force of Will. Like, you just don't have to. You don't have much wiggling room. And I can't imagine that anything from Eldritch Moon is powerful enough. I mean, maybe Emrakul is powerful enough. I mean, obviously, controlling your opponent's turn is devastating in Vintage. But then building up Delirium in your graveyard, that's not a Vintage thing. Games are so fast.
Putting cards in the graveyard is a Vintage thing. All right,
but only instants.
Well, fair. It does sound like our players are ready, though. So let's get down to the match. Let's find out the first set of decks that Rich and Eric have brought to battle. Hello and welcome to the playoffs. And Rich Shay is playing a deck called Emra still. Kai Bude said, no, we will not see Eldritch Moon cards in this playoff matchup between Rich and Eric. But Rich Shay did say last week on stream, actually, that he thought Emrakul is actually a really effective finisher in a landstill deck. And that seems like that's exactly what Rich has brought. Meanwhile, Eric, on a deck that we've seen him have some success with, like 6 months ago or so, he actually won one of the monthly Power 9 challenges with a Storm deck, and that appears to be his first choice here.
Yeah, like, the thing is, Rich only had Emrakul in his sideboard against other control-ish decks when he was talking about it. I don't think... I'm not sure if he has it in main deck. But Fairy Conclave, I'm not a big fan of my lands coming into play tapped. But yeah, I mean,
I just saw Emrakul on Sensei's Divining Top, so it is definitely in the main deck. It is in fact floating on the top of his library right now.
Did he find the second blue to cast his turn 2 Jays, or is he just gonna have a Fairy Conclave?
Wow, that's
also,
really
I mean, like, Eric's hand is great if he can find any threat. He's got a Duress and a defense grid. So he just needs to do something to kickstart the engine, and then Rich can't really do much with his hand. Like, the hands that Rich kept is very good against other blue control-ish decks, but...
Yeah, I mean, Eric can drop turn 1 defense grid off the Ruby. He just needs a business spell. I think you go ahead and get the defense grid down. He just saw that the coast is clear.
Rich will be very unhappy to see a turn 1 defense grid. That was not what he was hoping to play against with that hand. He probably also has, like, 4 Swords to Closures and stuff in his deck. Because, if you play Sansa, you need that creature removal. Otherwise, they just sneak a Pyromancer into play and you're done.
Eric also has the option to Duress the Jace. That's not crazy here either. He probably suspects there's a blue source on top of Rich's library. I mean, Rich did look at the top 3 with Divining Top, and he's 1 mana from Jace. So yeah, I think I like Duressing Jace here.
I like Duress,
What counterspell is Rich going to draw? Like, even a Force of Will, he won't have the blue card. Oh, he's going to use the ritual to do it all.
Yeah. Can only come back at him if he plays if he draws the Necropotence.
Well, if theoretically Rich could have had a Force of Will on top of his library, flip the top, force pitch and Jace or something. But yeah, Eric found a really nice line here, I think. It even lets him save the room for Storm Count later. You're
totally fine with that, though. Then you create a Force of Will and the only action card against your defense grid. I mean, sign me up. Like,
agreed.
And you have a Duress in your hand. You were so far ahead in that game.
Rich did find Flooded Strand for the record, so he would have had Jace this turn if Eric hadn't gone for the turn 1 Duress.
But this game is really coming down to Eric finding a business spell or not. I don't think Rich can defend himself very well.
Not even with Fairy Conclave?
Maybe he can block something, but...
Oh, does that count as a business spell?
Ancestral? I mean, as strange as that may sound, there are better business spells that he can draw.
It's
Dark
on the
Petition,
list.
for example.
Yeah, Dark Petition is better. It's in the top 10 business spells in his deck. Probably not in the top 5, but he'll take it. And it did find him a Dark Petition, which... Is he there next turn? No, he can't actually cast Dark Petition yet, can he? Since he used his Dark Ritual to fire off Duress plus Defense Grid on turn 1, it's going to take him a couple turns to get to Dark Petition.
Yeah. Ooh. But then he can put Bargain into play, right? If he goes on turn 4, he goes Mox, Dark Petition, in response, crack Lion's Eye Diamond, put Bargain into play, and then likely wins that turn.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds like the line. Now, Rich is at the point where he's got 3 untapped mana, so Eric has to be aware that if Rich doesn't do something, he could actually counterspell once.
Yeah, I mean, he can pay for Mental Misstep.
And that
would actually be a much better card to Hercules Recall that he just drew if there was no defense card in play. It would actually be annoying to use at end of Rich's turn.
Yeah, he can use it on himself for Storm Count, maybe.
I think I like playing Mox and Lion's Eye Diamonds this turn. Just to not add to the Storm Count. I mean, Mindbreak Trap... Rich likes playing
main Storm deck. He wants to add to the Storm Count.
He's going to win with Necropotence or Yakma's Bargain. You don't need Storm Count. If you draw 15 cards, you will have Storm Count.
That is fair.
And Rich likes Mindbreak Trap in the main deck. He's played that before, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this is basically a Mindbreak Trap game now. And Rich has done the smart thing of leaving it on top of his library where he can get it with Sensei's Divining Top whenever he needs it, but it's not vulnerable to Duress.
But then Eric knows the two Mishra's factories in Rich Sand, so he's not particularly scared right now.
He doesn't know the last card. I think and if he wants to fire off this duress before next turn's Mox, Petition, Bargain, then he has to duress here.
He's gonna he's gonna be really unhappy if he doesn't play those two artifacts now, because that's gonna counter whatever he gets with the Dark Petition.
It is Mindbreak Trap is the only card left for Eric to worry about. But you're right. Mindbreak Trap is we know it's on top of Rich's library, and we know that it can absolutely destroy Eric next turn if Eric makes the straightforward play. You want him to make a super subtle play that I'm not even sure it's correct. Maybe it's correct.
The problem is that there has to be something great on top of Rich's library, because he's not shuffling. Like, what cards would he not shuffle away at this point? To find like something proactive, like to find like a Jace or whatever.
Yeah, Flooded Strand is just sitting there.
Yeah, like Eric knows that he's very happy with the top card of his library.
He should know. I think Eric's going to walk into this.
Yeah, I think he's still walking into it. It's just so unlikely. Like, he's going to have one Mindbreak Trap in the main deck. And it's going to hit Eric pretty bad. That was a great draw, but still doesn't help against Mindbreak Trap.
Well, it does. He can go Lion's Eye, Academy, Petition. He doesn't have to play the Ruby now to get the 5 for the Dark Petition.
Oh, he's gonna play it. It's so, like, especially if he gets the Yakma's Bargain, it's so important to have that extra mana from Academy.
Yeah, you're right. He could play around Mindbreak Trap by throwing away mana, and it's just
almost. If he wanted to play around that, he would have done it last turn, I think. I think it's that train left now.
Wow.
Although he's clearly thinking about it. Like, he's thinking about.
Yes. The way to play around it would have been to play the Mox and the LED last turn, throwing away Storm Count.
He's passing the turn. He's playing around Mindbreak. He's passing the turn. He's going to end of turn Hercules Recall. He's playing around Mindbreak Trap.
Wow. That's kind of insane.
Yep. Well, it's Eric. He's very good.
Good at Magic? That's your line?
Yep.
Yes. I'll allow it. True story.
And yeah, next turn, the Mindbreak Trap won't be able to hit the bargain. Enforcer Will doesn't. Time Walk. I mean, Rich does keep finding the perfect cards on top of his library.
He can't get to Emrakul, can he? Because that would be insane.
He could, right? He's got 4 now.
Sorcery, land. That's 4. So Emrakul's down to 9?
He just needs to find Black Lotus on top of his library now. Black Lotus casts Emrakul for sure, right?
Yes, it does. It's even an artifact. It casts it by a lot. I think there's like 2 left over. You've got to be kidding.
2 of the top 3, right? Like, one is Caracas and one is Mindbreak Trap.
I only have the specific memory of the Mindbreak Trap, but I believe you. He's still.
I think I saw Caracas floating around there at some point.
I believe you. Wow. And Eric, if he really wanted to play around Mindbreak Trap, he could have done it a turn earlier, right? He could have played the Ruby and the LED 1 turn earlier, and then Dark Petition.
I think his line was that he needed the mana at that point, but then he drew Academy, and suddenly he doesn't anymore.
Fair. Also, the way he played it, I think being able to Hercules Recall is nice. He wasn't going to be able to Hercules Recall on Rich's turn until this turn.
Yeah. I mean, if Rich can't cast Emrakul, I guess he's not going to attack with Academies if he doesn't have another turn after.
Right. Yeah, the fact that Eric's taking damage makes Yawgmoth's Bargain worse. If he finds Black Lotus, he found Mana Drain. Okay.
That doesn't do enough.
Yeah, I mean, it could, hypothetically, but this Hercules Recall from Eric is actually kind of brilliant.
Yep.
Takes away the Sensei's Divining Top's ability to fish the top card. Takes away the Soul Ring's mana.
Well, he's going to have to use it, right? He's going to have to flip the top.
I assume Rich is going to flip top for the Mindbreak Trap here. Or he could Mana Drain.
That's bad, right?
I mean, it's only 2 mana for the Mana Drain here. There is a defense.
Oh, it's his turn, sure.
Right, now he's got the ability to Mindbreak Trap and pay the 3 for defense grade. Yeah, I like Rich's line.
Eric knows that there's a Mindbreak Trap, right? Like, it just has to be a Mindbreak Trap. Like,
What's
there's
he gonna do
nothing
about
else.
it?
I
I
mean,
don't
he
think
just
you just
well,
dark petition.
you
Yeah.
just cost the bargain, right? I mean, nothing. But like, if you mana drain in this spot, there's nothing else Rich can possibly cast other than Mindbreak Trap. It just
Yeah,
has to be a
he has to
Mindbreak Trap.
misstep, but yeah, it has to be Mindbreak Trap. Now, what Rich cannot do yet is hard cast the Mindbreak Trap.
Yep.
And Eric waited a whole turn, took some damage from Mishra's Factory, set up that Hercule's Recall, all so that he could cast Dark Petition for presumably Yawgmoth's Bargain without turning on the trap condition of Mindbreak Trap. Well played by Eric
Yeah,
Froehlich.
really well played. Definitely would have walked into that.
God, if Rich had come up with Black Lotus or Emrakul, this this game would have been so insane.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't have been all that insane. We would have seen exactly the same. We would have seen a Yakmos bargain, and then he would have paid 20 life.
True. Come on, that would have been the first match ever of VSL with Eldritch Moon. Man, if Emrakul had won it, that would have been nuts. We could probably hear Eric turning over furniture from my home if that had happened.
Norwich, you can't do anything about it.
Nope. He can Mindbreak Trap the next thing, which is not nothing.
I mean, yeah, like the problem is that Eric doesn't have that much life to work with. Like, there's 2 Mishra's Factories in play. And Fairy Conclave. Like, he gets attacked for 6 on his next turn. Yeah, he needs to win this turn through a Mindbreak Trap, which might not be possible. He's already gone through... He's lost 2 Duress already. There's probably 1 more.
Duress doesn't even help him because it's on top of the library, right?
Sure, it doesn't even do anything.
He needs another Hercules? Or like he has to feed him a lethal spell to Mindbreak Trap like a Yawgmoth will and then follow up with...
Another defense grid would do it, right?
1, 2, 3, no, 5. Oh, 6. You're right. Another second defense grid.
Yeah, that would do it. You would have to count as a grid deck. I mean, I guess you just don't count and just pray. But yeah, now Eric has to think if he wants to draw more cards, because Rich can attack for 6. He might just want to untap, I guess. But even, like, he only has 1 spell. Like, if he expect a Mindbreak Trap. I mean, I guess next turn he can wheel, and that can't be trapped. Would have to pay 7 mana for that.
Well, it looks like he's going to find out whether Dark Ritual resolves. It's like, okay, 3rd spell of the turn and a potential misstep target. Hypothetically, Rich could be floating a misstep. Although,
yeah, I mean...
Sure he wouldn't have defended it with Mana Drain, probably.
Yeah, he can just go Mana Vault, tap the Mox for wheel, and then if Rich traps it, he can pass the turn. I don't know why he taps the Mana Vault, so that seems strange. I wouldn't have tapped it.
He wants to spend colorless mana on the wheel. He doesn't want to spend
matter that much, I don't think.
It's a little tight. I think it matters. I would have tapped.
I mean, it's really bad. I mean, it's really way worse if he gets trapped now, right? It's way better to have an untapped Mana Vault if he plans to pass the turn if he gets trapped.
Well, it doesn't cost him any life because Bargain says he skips his draw step. The pain triggers in your draw step.
Oh, now Rich is actually wondering if he wants to gamble.
I know. He can draw 7.
He can draw 7 and draw a Mindbreak Trap with that. And, like, he probably thinks about if this is, like, the bait. If Eric has, like, a Yakmos Will, for example. And this is the bait card. And if he traps that, he just gets willed.
I think Eric is happy to get the Mindbreak Trap into Rich's hand where he can duress the damn thing.
I'm not sure there's that many duresses in Eric's deck. Like, I think it's 2 or 3 that you usually play.
He's gone through 2. That's fair. This has been a super sweet game. And the whole Eric just he knows exactly what card is on top of Rich's library based on the way Rich has played this game. And it's just every play Eric's made has been bent around it. What an awesome game.
Well, I mean, I don't think he knows or expects the Emrakul. He's been playing very well around the Mindbreak Trap.
Fair.
I think we're getting the Mindbreak Trap now.
Indeed.
And then he's got what, 4 different card types? 5?
Well, Eric can keep going, right? I think at this point, Eric wants to clear the Mindbreak Trap or get blown out by it, and then he can decide whether he wants to say go or keep going.
But the problem is, if you pass the turn, I think Rich just casts Emrakul, right?
Also, or attacks him for 6, 2 Mishras and a Fairy Conclave.
He's got what?
Well, he can't get him for 6. He can get him for 5.
3, 4. He's got 4 types, and he's got. Oh, he doesn't even have the mana.
Don't forget the mana drain on Hercules, which is going to give him 2 colorless. Oh wow, there was the second defense grid that would have made this way easier. All right, Eric can Cabal Ritual. He's got it.
He can. No, Cabal he doesn't.
He can Cabal.
Oh, he's a Cabal Ritual. Yeah.
Yawgmoth's Will.
Yeah. I didn't see the Cabal Ritual. Yeah, that's easy.
Cabal Ritual gets him all the mana. Now Dark Petition for Yawgmoth's Will. Run it all back. Dark Petition for Tendrils.
That's a kill already. Yeah. I mean, maybe he has a kill. Like maybe just Tendrils is enough now.
Oh, he made Dark Petition for Tendrils. Yeah, I've lost track of the storm count.
But either way, like he can always go Yawgmoth's Will Ritual, Cabal Ritual, cast some crap, and yeah.
Yeah, the only question is whether he needed to bother to go through the Yawgwill. He's going through the Yawgwill. Rich may just concede to this, where he knows he's done. Well, you probably play out and see if you see any more cards is the only reason to keep playing.
He's not going to show him anything. Like the only card he's going to show him is like he's going to be casting a Duress from the graveyard.
Eric is going to cast a Duress here, which Rich should absolutely concede to.
Yeah, Rich should
the existence of the card Emrakul seems like relevant information. Rich must have F6'd.
Oh, he has F6.
Free information for Eric Froehlich. Hello, there she is. Legendary 1313, hanging out with Shay and watching.
Storm 14 already. I'm not even sure he had to cast the will. I think it was already.
He did if he wanted to Duress.
Sure.
Would not have had leftover mana to fire off a Duress if he hadn't gone through the Yawgmoth's Will. Great game from Eric Froehlich. That was just a masterclass.
Rich put up a pretty good fight, given that his hand was nothing on turn 3.
True story. Yeah, if he finds Black Lotus off that, digging with the top, he would have absolutely resolved Emrakul and killed Eric with his own Yawgmoth's Bargain.
To be fair, that digging with the top only saw him 1 extra card, so it would have been a little bit lucky to find it there. But
yeah, but I mean, he dug for like 4 turns.
Yeah, I mean, can't complain about it.
All right, looks like Eric has on 3 main deck defense grids in this deck, at least 3 Duresses. He's got a Blightsteel and an Empty the Warrens on the sideboard. I think you'll see at least the Empty come in. That's usually the catch-all. I don't know what their sideboard hoser is for me, but I'll make sure I have an alternate path to victory that doesn't require resolving Tendrils.
The Tinker Blightsteel is for the Shops matchup.
Sure, that makes sense.
But yeah, he has to board in Chain because the blue-white Stencil deck usually has a Cane Lab in the sideboard. So you need something against that. I would maybe be tempted to board in the Tinker Blightsteel actually. With that much discard, he has Cabal Therapies too.
Yeah, there you get to see. What does Rich have that's fun? He does have not a ton.
Oh, he has no hate against Storm.
No, he really doesn't.
I mean,
he's loaded for blue matchups.
He's got Rest in Peace, which I would definitely bring in, but
yeah,
it's not great. I mean, it's good, but like, you're not super happy about it.
There's no Aethersworn Canonist. There's no Arcane Lab.
It looks like he's got a Supreme Verdict in his deck after sideboard.
Wow. Well, he's expecting the Empty the Warrens.
No, I mean, it's just a blue card for Forcible, right? I mean, look at the sideboard. The sideboard is just all anti-creature stuff.
White anti-creature stuff. You're right. At least Supreme Verdict can be pitched to Forcible. Great point.
Blue is... Being blue has value.
Eric does have the Tinker package in.
Yeah, I mean, he just boarded out the Colossus, I think. Yeah, the Tinker is going out.
Oh, he changed his mind? Okay.
What? Dark Petition? Really? I would never board out Dark Petition.
That is a little surprising to me.
So good just to get Necropotence. I mean, I guess he has 4. But still.
It's back.
Like, I would rather cut the Mind's Desire than the Dark Petition even, I think.
Sure. Like, no Empty? Is he going to go with no alternate victory condition card? Wow.
Apparently.
He's got Chains to defend himself with, and he does not have a way to win other than Tendrils.
Maybe he doesn't expect all that much hate, which seems reasonable. I mean,
there has not been a lot of Storm floating around the metagame lately. Oh, there was an Aethersworn Canonist. I missed it.
Oh,
he already put it in this deck.
Yeah, he just clicked it into the deck so fast. And we have a turn 1. It's probably just 1 copy. Yeah, I mean, if that is like his 2 sideboard cards, that's pretty impressive. He probably didn't board much more than those 2. Yeah, I mean, turn 1 Canonist, turn 2 Rest in Peace. And then he's got 2 Grizzly Bears to attack with. That's pretty good, actually. Like, Eric's hand is just all defense crits, which doesn't do anything.
So Eric is up a game in this match, but in case you're new to us, we're playing best 3 out of 5 matches. So even if Eric wins this match, there's still 2 more decks apiece to go through, and Eric's got to win 3 matches to claim the series win.
That was a good turn 1 Canonist. Otherwise, that would have been a turn 1 Necro, right? With the Lion's Eye Diamond, Dark Ritual, Tutor, and Probe. You can set it up. You can Ritual Tutor for a Necro, then Probe.
I think you're short of black mana.
No, you have a Lion's Eye Diamond.
Which Lion's Eye. Yeah. No, you're right. That was turn 1 Necropotence. You're totally right. Rich had turn 1 Canonist to defeat turn 1 Necropotence. Crazy. Now Eric's going to have to basically tutor for Chain, I think, and hope that he top decks a business spell.
Yeah, I think he first gets down the defense grid, right? And then
I'll buy that.
You have to you just wait if you either draw a Chain or your business spell, but you don't tutor yet.
Right. So this turn is probably Soul Ring Academy Defense Grid, something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
he might even have enough mana. He might even have enough mana for 2 defense grids.
Oh, you can too. You can go Underground Sea, Soul Ring, Defense Grid, Academy, Defense Grid. Which, I mean, it's not the worst turn I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But then Rich is on the attack for 2 plan. Watched Paul play and agreed that attacking for 2.
Snapcaster Aethersworn Cannon is not exactly a combo.
Well, or Rest in Peace. It doesn't really combo with anything right now.
It does attack for 2.
Which might be good enough in this game, I mean.
No, it's true. Eric is, got a tutor, would love to set up like a Necro or a Bargain, didn't get the turn 1 Necro because of the Canonist. I mean, Rich is basically set up to attack for 6 with the Mistress back, right?
He's going to attack for 4 and cast Snapcaster now. Oh, whoa. Next turn we're attacking for 8?
Yep. True story.
Okay. Yeah, Eric doesn't have that much time. I mean, basically, Eric needs to draw something right now.
Pretty much.
Like, if he draws something now, he's doing fine. Because then he tutors for the other missing part and wins on his next turn. But
he's not going to have a lot of life to pay for Bargain, though. He's going to have to...
Yeah, it's not going to be... It's going to be after like, Time Twist or something. No, that is a good draw.
That's a good draw, yeah. He's going to have to do it with draw 7s is basically what this comes down to. Yeah, he's going to have to tutor for a Chain. He's going to have to
this much mana and double defense grid in play. Draw 7s are good enough usually, I think.
Yeah, agreed. I just mean that drawing like Yawgmoth's Will isn't going to help him along the way. Yawgmoth's Bargain's not going to help him along the way. Like his business spells have been kind of cut in half by the fact that he's about to take 8 damage down to 5. He's going to vamp tutor down to like 3.
I think we're going to see Tinker and Blightsteel for the 3rd game. I mean, if he sees Canonist and Rest in Peace, you just have to board in.
He probably wishes he had him now. Even Empty would be good on this board.
No. As a Sworn Canonist.
Oh, never mind.
I mean, he could have had a good turn with all the artifacts, I guess, but it's pretty difficult.
I meant after the Chain, but you're right.
Yeah. Blightsteel. I mean, if he had Tinker in his deck, he could have tinkered out Blightsteel last turn, I think. Was the tutor.
Fair.
I wonder what he's thinking about now. Maybe if he wants to tap the Academy for the Ancestral. Wow, he passes the turn. What is his plan for the next turn?
Well, he vamps. Does he has enough mana to cast Vampiric Tutor at the end of Rich's turn?
Yeah, but then Rich can counter it.
Yeah.
That seems really awkward.
3, 4, 5. I mean, he can pay 6, but you're right. He exposed it to counterspells.
You would assume that he expects Rich to have like a misstep in his hand or something. So now he attacks for 8. Yeah, I mean, maybe Eric can actually just win next turn. I mean, I don't know if he's got a plan.
I'm with you. I think you should Vampiric Tutor main phase there.
Well, I think you Ancestral main phase and see what's happening, right? Like, oh, then you can't Vampiric anymore.
Then you can't. Yeah, that's the point. All right. Rich shaved his Vampira. He did get the information of seeing what Rich done on his turn, but he would get blown out if Rich was holding a mental misstep.
So Eric is going to get Chain of Vapor now, and he hopes this resolves, gets Chain of Vapor, and then just is all in on the Ancestral.
Pretty much.
I'm a big fan of Rich in this game.
This is, I mean, like I said, I'm surprised Eric exposed this Vampiric to a potential mental misstep, but I think this is his best line. I mean, other than the sequencing there, this seems like his only chance. Did he just play the Lion's Eye? Oh, it's an artifact. Ha! Like, what is he doing? But it's an artifact. Doesn't matter.
He just wants to keep the black mana available.
Yeah. Academy taps for 1 extra this way.
Don't sack anything, Rich. Don't do it. Bad idea.
Yeah, even bouncing a defense grid doesn't help him with only 2
mana. But it gets the Rest in Peace bounced.
Yeah.
Now we need some time with the business. And that's not enough.
I mean, Ton of Storm Count, like Mind's Desire, is now live as a very real good business spell. But 1 more draw. It's got to be good.
There's so many non-business cards after sideboard. Yeah.
Nope.
Like you have so many.
Wow.
So many mana sources and defense grids and duress and therapy. Like after sideboard, it's just really cast some discard and then get the Necropotence into play.
2 Canonist, 2 Rest in Peace. So Rich drew 1 of each.
2 Canonist. I mean, that is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, we said he had no hate, but it's just because the actual hate cards got in the deck so fast that we missed it. 2 Canonist is real hate. And then 2 Rest in Peace. He also brought a Disenchant in, did Rich?
Yeah, it's also pretty good against defense grids.
Yeah, game 3 sideboarding. Rich had a plan. It worked. No need to mess with it.
If I was Eric, I would cut the Mind's Desire and something for Tinker and Blightsteel. Wow, that's a lot of Dark Petitions leaving the deck.
They're not great against Canonist. They are very good, though. Yeah, so we went to Tinker Blightsteel. Anything else?
I mean, he's also on the play, so... I mean, I guess he doesn't know how many of those Canonists Rich has. It could be 3 or 4.
I mean, odds are, if you saw one in the only sideboarded game, it's more than 1. Interesting hand for Rich J.
It's also not a great hand for Eric. I mean, Therapy opening hand is pretty bad. Like, you probably Therapy for Force of Will, and then you hate your life afterwards.
It's right, Eric's on the play, right?
Yeah, Eric's on the play. He's going to Therapy for Force of Will, and then he's going to be very sad seeing Ancestral and Black Lotus.
It depends. Does he Dark Ritual into the Therapy?
No, you just land Therapy, I'm sure.
I'm not positive. We saw him use Dark Ritual to get out turn 1 defense.
Oh, you mulligan. I actually like that a lot. I didn't like that hand.
This hand seems a lot better.
This hand is way better.
Turn 1 Duress, a lot more reliable than the Cabal Therapy. He's got a DT for turn 2. Now, what do you take here? Ancestral, I assume?
Ancestral for sure.
Ancestral. Yeah, okay.
It could be Black Lotus, but I don't think so.
Yeah, my first thought was Black Lotus, since Rich has this awesome turn 1 of Ancestral and Standstill, but turn 1 at Standstill off of Black Lotus is not actually a good turn. So
yeah, you can just let him. You can just let him draw. I mean, whatever. Like, it's an inspiration. You spend 2 cards to draw 3. I mean, it's not bad, but like, you don't care that much, I don't think. And now we get Rest in Peace and Standstill, which is a lot better. Yeah. And then the Lotus is just not nearly as wasted.
Agreed. And Eric's Dark Petition just got a lot worse. Rich doesn't know Eric's holding it, but he knows Eric's got him in his deck. Dogma's Will and Dark Petition are the target cards for that Rest in Peace.
Now this looks way better for Rich.
I mean, Eric's still got a Demonic Tutor.
Yeah, but he can't really...
He's now also got a Vampiric. Oh, geez. All right.
Rich doesn't have many great cards against Eric, but he's pretty good at drawing them. All right, now that was a blank. Engineered explosives, not great. But yeah, now that thing comes in.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the board iced with standstill. Very Conclave doing work. You said this card was terrible, Kai Buddha.
Yeah, I mean, he has to push it. Like, if you just sit there and do nothing, eventually the Storm deck can probably overload you in one big turn.
Yep.
This is... it's not really a good opportunity to break that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the more hits Eric takes, the fewer cards he can get should he resolve his bargain.
He's drawing lands, though. That's pretty nice. I mean, if he draws another land, he probably just resolves Yakma's bargain. Just a good spot to be in.
He may also be trying to set up to break the standstill during Rich's end step with the Vampiric Tutor. Right? Rich has got 7 cards. You make him discard 3 of them.
Yeah, only if you have him go up to 7 first.
Yeah.
He's taking quite... Oh, there's the Force of Will. Now we're close to putting a check mark next to Rich, I think. Like, getting through Mind Break Trap, Force of Will, and Mental Misstep?
Gonna be tough.
With the Rest in Peace in play?
It involves Defense Grid, I'm sure.
Well, he's just going to hardcast Bargain now, then that gets Force of Willed. The problem is he probably has to pitch the Standstill, which is a pretty great card to follow up on his next turn.
Yeah, this is a spot where he wishes Engineered Explosives was blue.
Yeah.
What he wishes.
That only was a Supreme Verdict. So much better.
It's a true story.
But yeah, I mean, no, Engineered Explosives in general is good because of Defense Grid. You would probably even board that in if you had extra copies in the sideboard. Because you expect 3 to 4 defense grids. I mean, I think the minimum amount of defense grids is 3 in the Storm decks after sideboard.
Yeah, sounds right.
He doesn't even bargain. Okay.
He doesn't want to break the standstill.
Eventually you have to, but I mean, Rich is missing land drops, so that's pretty nice. He is drawing 3 counter spells, which is not so nice for Eric.
I think maybe you break it end step here with a vamp. Nope. 2 a turn is adding up. Eric down to 10 now. Half his life total gone.
Yeah. And he can't win with, like... It's pretty tough winning with a Storm kill without, like, a massive card draw from Necropotence if there's a Rest in Peace in play, because you can't Yakma's Will. It's not that easy to Storm someone if you can't Yakma's Will. So, I don't know. Probably still pass the turn, but I think next turn he has to do something.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. It is hard to imagine him slogging his way through all of that. Like, even if he manages to set up an end-step Vampiric Tutor where Rich is going to have to potentially discard 3 or 4 cards, it just gets misstepped. It's not like his tutor's going to resolve.
Yeah.
Rich is on a misstep and a force and a Mind Break Trap.
Even then, if he has to discard, like... He's always going to have those 3 counter spells, and then if he draws 3 cards and he gets another Force of Will, he can keep 2 blue cards, 2 Force of Will, and 2 other counters. It's just too much to get through, I think.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah. Eric is wondering, like, the problem is he can't even Vampiric for something super great right now. I mean, I guess Cabal Therapy, because especially... No, Cabal Therapy is better than Defense Grid, right?
I was thinking Defense Grid. Defense Grid and Duress are usually the best cards here. They're cheap things that basically must be countered. I mean, Duress and Cabal Therapy have the drawback that they can be misstepped.
Yeah.
All right, Rich now up to 8 cards.
Yeah, Rich is just not drawing lands, which is unlucky for him. Now he's wondering if he wants to attack or if he wants to keep mana drain open. He doesn't attack. That's good for Eric.
Discard at the backup.
Now Eric passed the turn way faster. Because as long as Rich doesn't draw lands and doesn't attack, that's actually good for Eric. He wants to build up a better card.
Emrakul, again, not what Rich wants. Talk to me about the Emrakul rest in peace synergy, Kai.
This is the way how Eric can win this game. Rich not drawing lands and afraid of attacking, and Eric building up a perfect hand.
Wow. Do you think Rich is correct to sit on this mana drain? Should he have just been continuing to chip away with Fairy Conclave?
I think with 3 free counters in your hand, you have to attack. Now you discard Dark Petition and then start end of Rich's turn with Ancestral and Vampiric. Yeah, that's what he did. Now he has 8 cards in his... Yeah, now, really? I would have started now. That seems perfect. A very good opportunity. Like, the problem is, if Rich draws more lands, that gets really bad.
Eric's hand's not perfect, because I don't know how good the bargain is. I guess he's at 10. It's still plenty good, isn't it? But, I mean, he's probably trying to resolve the Twister.
I think I would discard Bargain now.
Blightsteel's not this game.
Sure, that's fine.
All right, there's a Sapphire, though, so...
That's very bad. No, don't cast it. Okay. That's you want to draw lands, not Moxes. Yeah, now Eric has to discard again. I would probably just discard Bargain and then go for it end of turn. I mean, the Bargain doesn't do enough. It costs 6 mana. If you can't go Yakmosville, the Bargain is just not great. Yeah, Bargain is done. Another Mox. I think he has to crack it now. He has so much mana on his turn.
Eric's still not breaking the standstill. Rich still discarding.
Duress is a good draw.
Duress is a good draw. Eric trying to craft the perfect hand before he breaks the standstill. Or, as soon as Rich draws land number 5, Rich will start attacking with Fairy Conclave again.
Yeah, I think Rich should have just kept attacking.
I mean, look, seeing both hands, it feels like Rich would have been better off attacking. It is so much harder to come to that conclusion when you're playing it, though.
The problem is he won't be attacking now, right? Oh, he will. Okay, good. You never know.
I mean, now he's got Mana Drain plus 3 free counters.
Yeah, but if you're a subscriber of the Menendian School of Magic, you just never attack. You just always wait to draw more counter spells.
Rich Shay does not want to be accused of subscribing to the Menendian School.
It's not a bad... Oh, wow. He just didn't draw double Force of Will blue card.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 Force of Wills and a blue card off the standstill.
So his 7-card hand is going to be Force of Will, Force of Will, Force of Will, Mana Drain, Mind Break Trap, blue card, blue card.
Well, stay tuned. Eric should also go for an Ancestral here, right?
Oh, yeah, he gets the ability.
I mean, yeah, he might want to make Rich discard first before he goes for the Ancestral. I think Eric's supposed to make Rich discard, then go for the Ancestral. I mean, it's not likely that Rich has more than 7 cards he wants to keep, but in fact he does right now.
That was a good draw, too.
Oh, second Duress. Wow.
Yeah, he can likely get the Twister off. But won't have a... Would be nice to get the Twister off with the defense grid in play. But it's probably not as
Rich can counter 4 times.
Yeah, but...
4.
I mean, maybe he just lets the Ancestral resolve.
Yeah, Rich is going to Mana Drain the Duress, both because he wants to play cards out. He doesn't want to give Eric the information because he knows Eric's probably running Cabal Therapy. So if he can deny Eric a look at his hand, that's better than letting Eric take a good card. This does tell Eric there's no more missteps.
Yeah, otherwise you never Mana Drain. So yeah, I think I just Duress again.
Yep, agreed.
Oh, he pitches. Wow.
I don't mind this. The Duress is going to take
he loses 2 Force of Will, though. I mean, I guess if he lets the Duress resolve, he just takes the Mind Break Trap, which is essentially a Force of Will and another card.
I mean, because now... Yeah, Force Brainstorm is gone.
Yeah, because now the Mind Break Trap is enabled. And clearly Eric wants to go for it this turn. The question is if he Mind Break Traps this now. He does.
Interesting. He's going Force of Will, not Mind Break Trap. I might have Mind Break Trap there.
Sure. So Eric has... So Eric can go Ritual, Mana Vault, Time Twister, and if he Mind Break Traps that, he might be able to 10 notes him out. That's it, right? That's game.
Are you serious? Eric's got this?
No.
Does he have enough mana?
Yeah, easily. He has Academy.
There's only one artifact.
Oh, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Too bad. Too bad.
He's got 5, 6, 7. I count 9 mana. That is enough. Twister DT Tendrils is enough.
Yeah, the question is... Oh, he just gets Tendrils now. If that doesn't get... He has to trap it now. If he doesn't trap this now, he just gets Tendrils and wins.
Mindbreak kills everything on the stack, doesn't it? Mindbreak Trap is exile everything on the stack.
Oh, yeah, sure. Does he even have a second Tendrils in his deck? So if he lets that resolve, is Eric just dead?
This is a bait spell for sure, but like...
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, what is he going to get, right? It's just Tendrils for the kill, and then he traps that.
Or Eric gets the Tendrils, then Twisters, gets that trapped. Like, you still Twister first, right? He's got 3 mana left, 4, 5, 6. He's got 7 mana.
He does kill Defense Grid.
Defense Grid, now that Rich is tapped out. So Rich is going to have to trap the Defense Grid.
I like it a lot there. And then he Twisters, not with much mana, but with some.
He'll have 2 untapped Underground Seas.
He might choose an untapped Academy.
Then he has no black mana.
Yeah, it's risky, but it gives you a lot more outs.
I think I would want the black mana.
Yeah, I would probably want the black mana too, but an untapped Academy if you draw 7.
What is he?
Sure.
I don't know what he's thinking about.
I mean, if the last card in Eric's hand is Tendrils, you lose. That's how it is.
You lose either way.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do anything about it.
It doesn't matter what the last card in Eric's hand is. You can't point your Mindbreak Trap at it. So.
Yep.
Unless you think Eric is on some massive bluff where he's about to say go.
I mean, this is actually not bad. Like, the problem is that all these cards were removed with the Rest in Peace. So now Eric time twisters, and there's no Force of Wills and no Mindbreak Traps in the Rich deck. I think that's all of them, right? Yeah, exactly. He just draws no counters. And there's a Black Lotus, but yeah.
Eric drew no way to fight through counters, but Rich drew no counters.
But he doesn't have any.
Somebody played a Rest in Peace. What was Rich supposed to do? All this stuff got... Look at that Exile Zone. Good lord.
Yeah. It's 3. He's got 1 Force of Will and maybe 1 Mindbreak Trap if he has 2 traps, but he probably only has 1 trap, right?
Wow.
So now Eric...
He
doesn't have a kill there. Oh, he does have a kill, right?
Dark Petition for Tendrils is the kill. He's trying to figure out how to play around the last Force of Will. And I don't think he can.
I think you just go for it. I really didn't see Eric win this game. That's pretty amazing.
I mean, I think Eric's backup plan is to time walk and knock the top of his deck. But I think, he can't play around anything. Like, he's worried about a potential second Mindbreak Trap or the last Force of Will. I don't think his hand lets him play around any of that, though.
Yeah, I think you just go for it. I mean... Like, the Dark Petition is also just such a bad card with Rest in Peace in play. Like... I think you have to risk it here.
Yeah, he's not going to get the Spell Mastery, obviously. But 5 mana plus a Black Lotus is 8.
That's going to be a big Tendrils. That was a lot of spells. Probably Storm 20 or something. What is 16. It? I can't... 16. Yep, well played.
Eric Froehlich, ladies and gentlemen.
Worked through a hand of 3 Force of Wills, Mana Drain, Misstep, and Mindbreak Trap.
Unbelievable. Eric takes the 1-match lead. Look at that. Rich Shay drew sideboard cards, had him, stopped attacking with Fairy Conclave. I'm sure Rich is going to wonder, especially when he goes back and watches the video, was he supposed to keep attacking with Fairy Conclave and keep Eric's life total under pressure?
I mean, the real reason Eric won this game was that he drew up to like 6 lands and Rich stalled on 3. Well, I think Eric probably has substantially less lands in his deck than Rich. Like, if Rich just drew lands there, I think he wins that game.
Fair?
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason when, like, if you play Standstill, that's the risk. Like, Standstill just rewards the guy who's drawing more lands, and that doesn't have to be you. I mean, you usually have 1 or 2 more lands than your opponent, but that's not a guarantee that you draw more lands.
So Rich's Standstill was maybe better for Eric. Although when it resolved, it did give him Force of Will blue card. I think the Standstill did just fine for Rich.
Standstill was good, but...
Rest in Peace also was a double-edged sword, though. It was good, but it also... exiled all Rich's Force of Wills, and when Eric got that Time Twister off, there was nothing left for Rich to draw.
Yeah, I think without the Rest in Peace, he would have lost that game pretty badly.
All right, fine. Rich's cards were better for Rich. Still an interesting game. And we got lots more coming. That was match number 1. These two guys are playing best 3 out of 5. And what we're doing is the first 2 weeks of the playoffs, we had a 3-way tie for second. And Kai was the guy who actually had the great suggestion. We don't really have to break the regular season tie between second, third, and fourth. What we really have to do is figure out who deserves to play Shuhei in the finals. So we're doing a full round robin. Rich and Eric are going to play. Then Eric and Paul Rietzel are going to play. Then Paul and Rich are going to play. Hopefully one of them goes 2-0 and we don't have to go to tiebreakers. The 2-0 player just gets to go straight to the finals and play against Shuhei. But what this means for you guys is we have 3 different best 3 out of 5 matchups all crammed into these first 2 weeks of the playoffs. So,
yeah, I mean, it was either this round robin or just have an open debate who feels the most comfortable to play against O's. Probably the round robin is just the better solution. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to play for the third, fourth, and second place if you have 3 players and you need to find one opponent for Shuhei. Yep. Also, it's like so unfair to break up that tie with like 1 match. And then
the only way to break the ties, somebody was arbitrarily going to have to get a bye, and then the other 2 would play the guy that got the bye to see who gets the real bye. It's like, nah, this is way better.
Yeah, I like this a lot more.
Awesome. Well, we will have the second match between Eric and Rich. 2 more new deck lists queued up and ready to go right after these commercials.